The McAlberts speak out, and the wife of the former homeowner of 34 Fairview, Nicole Albert, has just one thing to say to all of you.
Think real long and hard before you're a witness in a case.
Hello, 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 and welcome back, roommates, to another titillating edition of Alexasrewm, where we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, and we are not law enforcement. We are just people who have opinions about all things going on post season 2 of the Karen Reed retrial, including the McAlberts speaking out for the first time on camera, well, ever, to talk about the hardships of their experiences as witnesses in the unaliving of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
The criminal justice system has let us down at every turn, and yesterday was the final letdown. And that's why we're here, because there's nobody left to stand up for us.
Think real.
Are you sure that's why you're here making an on-camera statement now?
Think real long and hard before you're a witness in a case, because no one protects you. And it's very, very sad.
Oh my God, I'm crying. So it was a choice. We didn't choose to be a witness. One does not choose to put themselves in a vulnerable position like that. I mean, we were the homeowners of 34 Fairview, and it's not like it with our dog. So you chose to be a witness. You chose to be at 34 Fairview, your home at the time of a crime that took place. Okay, got it. Cool. Thanks, Coco.
For the first time, some of the key players in the Karen Reed trial sitting down for an exclusive interview. His friend, Jennifer McCabe, and her husband, Matt. Former Boston police sergeant Brian Albert and his wife Nicole and his brother Chris Albert. All five of them pulled into the center of...
If you're new to the case, Chris Albert was convicted of unaliving a foreign exchange student named Peter Berger back in, I believe, the 90s. And he was convicted of it. I think he only did something like 6 months in jail for it. I believe he was also drinking and driving, and I believe it was a hit and run situation. You know who didn't drunkenly hit somebody with her vehicle and then leave the scene of the crime? Karen Reed.
I think the reason we all stayed quiet is because we were just witnesses. This is a thing that we had nothing to do with.
We did the civic duty, came and
I'm just a pizza guy who owns the slop shop in Canton.
told the truth, and that's it.
Free Karen Reed!
It's the case that has captivated the country and divided a town. Karen Reed, accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, hitting him with her SUV and leaving him to die in a blizzard.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Now, after a second trial, a jury acquitting her of the most serious charges, second-degree murder and manslaughter. And hundreds of supporters in...
That's the loud minority, folks. That is who Chip Proctor was referring to in his candid interview that he gave to Matt Gutman as well, the guy who's interviewing these fine folk in this video. I just want to know, what happened to Cora? Why the name changed? I want to know.
People turned this thing into a tailgate party, it looked like some days. Board games, cornhole, cookouts. This is a guy that was murdered. And it's...
Yeah, the man passed out in the snow that Jen McCabe referred to her close friend as.
It's atrocious for that family.
While the prosecutors blamed Reed for O'Keefe's death, the defense said this group of family members framed Reed to cover up what really happened that night. Ever since, their lives becoming open season for endless conspiracy theories.
What they've done is they've dehumanized.
Oh, wait, there's a Microdots plug. Hold on.
Open season for endless conspiracy.
Microdots. Go follow Microdots on everything, on Twitter, on the Twitter X's, but especially YouTube.
What they've done is they've dehumanized us to the sense where we're not real people. We're almost like caricatures. We're pawns.
Have each of you been called murderers?
I mean, yeah, well, if you behave like characters and you had all this time to come forward and say anything you wanted to say, but instead you like to hide behind witness intimidation charges, which they don't ask anything about here. I mean, it's ABC. It's ABC. So they're going to limit the scope of what they can and cannot talk about. And I'm sure they got to review all the questions beforehand, their attorneys, etc. But I mean, I definitely would have pressed about that. So like, because they're playing, here they are like, oh, poor me, I'm just a character. I mean, Baghdad Bob is a character.
Almost like caricatures. We're pawns.
Have each of you been called murderers? Like actual murderers?
Oh, yeah, on a daily basis.
Anybody who's touched this case has been called a murderer at some point.
And then
I can't stand Matt McCabe. I really can't. He kind of looks like Paul Bunyan, but with a little extra hair on his head. He's the guy who texted in the group chat and said, tell them the guy never went in the house. Like, he could give a crap less about John O'Keefe.
anyone who's friends with us support cop killers. Yeah.
After 3+ years, the saga wrapped up yesterday. Reed captured celebrating at dinner with her father, and today seen walking with her attorney, Alan Jackson.
I didn't even know I'd be here today, so I had no plans.
Meanwhile, O'Keefe's family and friends struggling with the verdict.
I'm just sad for John's family and what happened yesterday, and I feel like they didn't get justice for him, and our lives just changed forever.
Why speak out
I mean,
now? After
they could get justice if you just all, I don't know, told the truth. What about that 5:07 a.m. call, Coco? What about that 5:07 a.m. call?
verdict.
We took what we thought was the high road.
Right.
Let the court do its job.
It did.
Did John ever come in the house?
Never. No.
You never saw John O'Keefe in the house, right?
Never.
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 Notice how they all just shake their head. They let Brian Albert, I'm going to back that up again. They let Brian Albert answer. Look at this handsome fellow, right? I mean, it's just so freaking sad that we may potentially never, ever, ever get 100% closure to any of this. And the fact that they come out with a statement, not only a statement, but an on-camera interview before the O'Keefe family even makes a statement. I mean, I haven't seen anything come out. I could be wrong, but I mean, as of this point, I have not heard of any statement or any interview of the O'Keefe family. And I can't imagine. I can't imagine them making a statement at this time. Like, what is there left to say? It's just, and then these stu-nods go on here. Read the freaking room, bro. Like, this is not a time to give your, like, tell-all, like, oh, it's our time to tell our truth. Because it's our truth. This is what happened. I mean, John O'Keefe may not have gone in the house, but did he go in the garage?
Involving other members of law enforcement. Did John ever come in the house?
Never. No.
You never saw John O'Keefe in the house, right?
Never.
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 They all look to Brian Albert. Let him answer first. All nodding their heads no. I'm not a body language expert, but I'm just saying I'd be curious to see somebody do, like, behavioral panel or somebody do a video on this, which I'm sure is going to come. The next question I would ask is, well, what about the garage?
These are people in your own community who believe the conspiracy theories, who believe that there were other law enforcement officials and agents involved in this. Why is it people in your own community who believe these conspiracy theories?
You do realize for this conspiracy to be true, it would take 30 to 50 people. You'd have to have multiple cops on 2 different police departments, multiple civilians.
But it's believable when Chip Proctor's a family friend and Kevin Albert, your brother, who worked with Proctor on a cold case months after this investigation was open. So yeah, I could see that happening. Let's not forget D&E Slop Shop owner Chris Albert over here. He's a select boardman. I mean, it's just like it goes on and on and on. And I get from the outside, you know, the outside looking in, if you haven't really been following this case, I know a lot of people around here are new to it. You don't know all the lore. And if you need catching up, definitely head over to TB Daily News. I'll link that as well in my description box. If you ever try to have a conversation with somebody who believes Karen Read is guilty beyond sin and that this was all just a big mistake and the jury was being tampered with and blah, 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 the same people who last year were like, the jury wasn't being tampered with. What are you talking about? That doesn't happen. Ha. They will literally respond, if you believe in the conspiracy and Karen Read was being framed, you would have to believe that 30 to 50 people would be in on it. How? I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a retired Boston police officer. Oh, excuse me, Boston police detective. He was on Boston's Finest. What you aren't sharing is that you were well known. It's not that hard to believe when you know all of the information, which obviously in this trial, the defense's case wasn't as focused around the cover-up and her being framed by all of these people and more. So now I think this gets followed up with the question about, well, hey, Brian Albert, you're a first responder, right? You know what to do in these types of situations. More so than soccer mom Jen McCabe, who doesn't know how to describe chest compressions.
The medical examiner, firemen, EMTs, you name it. That's how preposterous and silly this is. And great question. I don't understand how people bought this.
I mean, it's easy because, again, you're talking about the medical examiner. Well, the medical examiner of Massachusetts said initially, she's like, I don't even know if a homicide occurred. I can't even say that. I can't even declare the manner of death. For all I know, he could have slipped it in his head.
Brian Albert says he and Nicole only found out about John's death when Jen McCabe, who is Nicole's sister, barged into their bedroom.
She was just upset, and I immediately thought something had happened to one of her children or one of my children, because why else is she in my bedroom at 6:30 in the morning right now?
And what did she tell you?
She said, John's out front. I think John's dead out front. I said, what the are you talking about, Jen? And I'm like, I didn't know.
You still didn't piece it
I
together.
didn't understand what she was talking about, because why would John be out front of my house?
So massively confusing. You're an officer. Why don't you just go outside and
You're a first responder, bro.
investigate or take a look?
I'm not a Canton police officer. I'm a Boston police officer.
I'm a Boston police officer. Like, the arrogance in his voice, too. Like, I'm better than those local cops. Like, okay, bro. Settle down there. Settle down. I mean, but wouldn't you be curious? Like, look, I'm not a cop. I don't know. But my general knowledge of most, people who work in the medical field, right? Nurses, doctors, etc. Police officers. Wouldn't it intrigue you a little bit to turn on your detective hat on and be like, oh, hey, I have all these skills. This is my house. Let me help as much as I can to assist this investigation. I know what to do. Let me call my buddy over and blah, blah, blah. See if he can get, an update on this thing or that thing, or what can I do to help? Instead of just saying, well, I'm not a Canton cop. I'm a Boston police officer. I'm a Boston cop. What a jerk.
By the time I came downstairs, the police were already in my house. John was already gone. There was nobody to save. I would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe.
But how do you know he was gone? He wasn't pronounced dead until 8? Which at this point, all you know is he was hauled off into an ambulance. Wouldn't you offer to help? Would you see hey, I'm going to go over to the hospital because I want to make sure he's okay. I want to see what's going on. If you can't help, what do you mean he's gone? He was already gone.
Because he was a fellow cop. That's the most ridiculous question that people always ask. It makes zero sense. What am I supposed to do? Run out front in my underwear and start running yellow tape around the fire hydrant?
Oh, for the love of God, no. Nobody needs to see that.
Jen called 911.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a man passed out in the snow.
Yeah, that's something you would definitely say about your really close friend. There's a man. Like, it could be any man. It could be, like, some random homeless guy who passed out on my brother-in-law's front lawn. You don't even say, oh, there's a man passed out on my brother-in-law's, or my sister's front yard. It looks like my friend. Oh, it is my friend. My friend is passed out on my sister's front yard. If I saw my friend or anybody passed out, knocked out, clinging to their life on the front yard of my sister's house, I'd be terrified as duck. To know, one, is my sister okay? My niece okay? My brother-in-law okay? Is something happen inside the house related to this person who's outside on their front yard in freezing temperatures right now? What happened? Let me see if they're okay, or let me, I don't know if my sister's okay. But I guess she wasn't concerned about her sister, right?
But what raised eyebrows at Reed's trial was a defense theory about a Google search Jen had made about how long it takes to die in the cold.
I wish he would have asked about the FBI, honestly. Why did you lie to the FBI? About who you didn't call. How many people did you call? Like 5 different people? I think Brian Albert was one of them. When they came over to interview her?
Was found. So much has been made about that Google search that morning. Was it at 6 a.m. or was it at 6:27 a.m.? How long to die in the cold? What's your answer?
She asked me to do it at outside of Fairview at 6:20, whatever it was. Doesn't matter how much I say about it, people will not believe it.
The group also hoping to clear.
No, because the data doesn't say that. No matter what convoluted little explanation, and poor Cora. Convoluted explanation Jessica Hyde wants to say about the pizza and the pepperoni and may the 4th be with you, it's still not going to prove that Google search did not happen at 2:27 a.m. And then the Google search that you made later when you tried to correct it, you're the only person who's saying, Karen told me to do this. Karen told me to Google hypothermia. Carrie Roberts lied to the grand jury about hearing that. She admitted it during her testimony this retrial. But I guess that's the hill you want to die on.
Clear up rumors regarding the Albert's dog, Chloe, who had been rehomed after the incident.
They've known for 2 years where Chloe is. The state shared it with them.
So if they wanted to take DNA evidence from...
Who knew? They knew? Or the defense knew? So the defense knew where Chloe was. The state shared it. She's with some veterinarian now who named her Cora. Why the name change?
From Chloe the dog and match it to possible DNA evidence on
Why'd you
John
get rid of
O'Keefe.
her?
They could have matched it.
Absolutely.
But now with the trial behind them, they say they're still
I mean, again, I would have asked, why did you get rid of her? Why did you rehome her? Why did you do it when you did it? I get this is NBC. We're not going to get a whole lot here, but these are all the questions I would ask.
with threats against them and their families. But
Where was she? Was she there in the
This
morning?
community, their home.
You get down, you get depressed.
Was she in the room? Like when Jen McCabe busted in? Where was she throughout the entire night? Was she downstairs? Because I think that's what they testified to in the first trial.
This is the town we grew up in. We didn't do anything wrong. We all contributed to our town. We love our town. Why should we have to go anywhere?
You don't have autonomy over Canton just because you're in Albert and you grew up there and you have a small business there, because guess what? So do a lot of other people. who don't use their influence in the town to just do whatever they want and bully other people, allegedly. No one feels bad for you. I mean, I don't know who's more pathetic, you guys or freaking Chip Proctor over there who's shedding crocodile tears. You want to talk about how Karen Reed doesn't emote? She doesn't show a lot of emotion. She hasn't shown a lot of emotion throughout this trial. Where's the emotion coming from you? This was a close friend of yours. Where are the tears? I guess you can't produce tears unless you're crying for yourself. So there you have it. The only people, well, some of the only people in the world who actually know what happened to Officer John O'Keefe. In my opinion, allegedly. There are so many other questions that are going to be left unanswered. I don't know if this is the start of their Crimea River tour. I don't know if Justin Timberlake's going to be the opening act for them. Who knows? We'll see. But when we do, we'll be covering it here on this channel. So in the meantime, if you are not subscribed, make sure you do, because there's a whole lot more fight that is left in me, like the Rachel Platt song for Karen Reed. Just because she's freed doesn't mean that she still doesn't need our help. I have the link to her defense fund in my description box below. There are tons and tons of legal fees. Still a lot more that we can do to support her, in this time. She's still got that civil suit. I don't think that's probably going to be dropped. If it is, probably not for a little while, but we'll see. If it does get dropped or what the update and the latest on that is, I will let you know. But make sure you hit that notification bell so you do not miss the next update from me with this case or any other case, right? And make sure you hit that like button, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that this is newsworthy news, and it is, because these people are full of garbage. This is about finding justice for John O'Keefe. We freed Karen Reed. That means we're one step closer to that. Whether we will ever 100% get that justice for him, we'll see. But until then, I will see you all in the next one.